Welcome to another episode of the John McEntyre Show live daily. I'm John McEntyre, and today we have a very interesting topic we want to cover. But before we get into it, today is November the 5th, 2024. Today is voting day. It's election day. Well, the last day to vote, actually, the last day to vote. But this is the official election day. I know a lot of you out there that you voted early and you did mail in ballots, things like that. Me personally, I just wait until um, actual election day because my voting center is like pretty much a block away from me, so I can walk there. If I did early voting, other things, I would have to drive and go to a nearby town and everything like that. And the traffic's not too good at doing a lot of work, so it wasn't worth the hassle. I said I can wait till today. And I'm not a big fan of mail-in ballots for obvious reasons. But hopefully, everyone's gotten out there. You've either voted or you're going to cast your vote today because it is our civic duty. We've been given the freedom to vote and choose our leaders. And so, with that being said, today is election day. Also, it's a very special day. Today is National Donut Day. Um, that's a big one. And I'm puzzled because I was like, well, why don't if you want people to come out to the polls, wouldn't it have been smart to actually pass out donuts? I think so. I think it would have been a good way to get the people to come out and vote. Um, I didn't be a way to get some extra votes. Who knows? I don't know. But they had all of these tents and booths set up everywhere, handing out things. Would have been nice if someone would have had a donut or two to hand out to us, especially with it being the weather isn't the best. It's been all sunny and no rain for weeks, seemed like weeks, and pretty much since the Hurricane Helene. Um, well, I forgot the one that came after. I forgot there was another one that came after her Helene, tropical storm for us. Um, but yeah, today is national. It's election day and it's National Donut Day. So uh, after you've cast your vote, or if you voted, go treat yourself to a good donut. And if you don't eat donuts, I'll put my mailing address up. You can have them delivered here. Um, there's not a donut that I haven't met that I don't like. So whatever you choose, send it to me, and I'll make sure to eat it at your name, and I'll give you a shout out on the show here. So, all right, but let's get let's get a little bit serious here. One thing before I move forward, also talking about voting, something that was very disturbing. Standing in line to wait to sign in and everything, and this guy in front of an older gentleman, um, and I saw that we don't vote the same or whatever, uh, but he was exercising his right to vote. Well, apparently he hadn't voted in a while, and the lady, one of the volunteers, poll workers, she was like chastising the guy for not voting. Like, I see here you haven't voted, and she named the time frame and everything like that. It's your God-given right to vote, and you're supposed to do this. And it was a few people, people standing around, and they was like looking. So me being me and standing behind there because it was holding me up, I had other things to do, like get here and get prepared for the show. I was like, I don't think that's in your job. Well, it's not your job. You're a volunteer, or you may work. I don't know. But I don't think that's in your job description to be chastising people for not voting. Um, and your job is to get them, make sure everything is correct for them, and for them to be directed to where they're supposed to vote, their booth and everything like that. Make sure that their information is correct. He has his ID. He's able to vote. Correct? She was like, yes. I said, so let the gentleman vote. That's what he's here to do. That's what we're all here to do. No one's here to be chastised. Um, he's exercising his right, that God-given thing. I don't know. I haven't seen that in the Bible. But it is a civic duty, and it is a freedom of being an American, that you can vote. So let the gentleman vote, and let us all move on with our day. Uh, she didn't like it. but I didn't. That wasn't my. I wasn't saying it for her to like it. I'm just saying, give the gentleman's here to vote. Allow him to vote. I'm quite sure he didn't get up to come in here to be chastised by someone. And he turned around and he thanked me, and we went about our way and we voted. When I came out, he was standing out there by his I guess that was uh, maybe a daughter or something like that, waiting for him. She said she had already voted, and he told her what I had done. And so he turned around, thanked me, shook hands. He was like, it doesn't matter who wins, or whatever. This is how we're supposed to behave. I said, right. We're supposed to look out for each other because we're all Americans. So you was here to exercise your right to vote. And he said, yeah. He said, really, the reason why I hadn't voted because I was sick. I had been sick. And I was like, well, glad to see you're well. That's no one's business why you were unable to get to the polls and everything in the past elections. That wasn't for you to explain. You don't have to explain to anyone. You were just here to exercise your right to vote. So he went on his way. I got to go on my way. So things have gotten a little ugly than it should. Uh, but um, we're here to talk about personal finance. So let's get into this. Um, we've been receiving so many wallet wins in all areas. Debt being paid off, cars being paid off, credit cards being paid off, loans forgiven, things like that. We've been busy. Like I said, we have enough wallet wins for everyone for the past couple of days. People, finding their Medicare plan that suits them, their prescription drug plan that works for them, because those costs have been, moving, and some of the increases have been substantial. People in the under 65 getting there, enrolling in their healthcare plans. We've people, this is their first time, things like that. And we just have a lot of wallet wins. I could spend the next hour or two just talking about wallet wins. And so I just wanted to give a broad overview, just if they're being coming from all over, and I appreciate that. The thing, I want people to share them while I'm doing the show, while we're live here, so that I can share them with others. So just send in your wallet wins, hashtag wallet win. I see it. We see it in the comments. We'll make sure and celebrate with you. Like we've been celebrating everyone who's first time going into Medicare, first time getting a healthcare plan for them and their family, getting the dental and all the other parts of healthcare, and people being happy to know that they can take care of those issues next year, 2025. So we celebrate it. We celebrate with each client or each person, each wallet win. We celebrate with them, and so we want to celebrate with you. Also, if you have a question, uh, put it in the comments, or you can actually contact us here at our contact information. You should see it at the bottom of the screen there. Um, Give us a call. If you want to be on the show with us, you can actually be on the show and ask your question live, and I'll answer it. Or if Andrea is with me, we'll answer your question. So people think it's just me doing, live shows, and maybe the questions have already come in or things like that, which is true. I answer the questions as I receive them, but I also want people to know that you can actually appear on the show and ask your question live, and I'll answer it. Just give us a contact, usually 24 hours before the show, because we will want to contact you and discuss it even further, because it could be an emergency. We want to answer it, and if you still would want to appear, we can still have you on the show and talk about it. But if not, then we just discuss it, and then give you the instructions on how you would appear, everything like that. So that being said, uh, please don't hesitate to contact us with your questions. All right, let's get into this. Today's topic is pretty much about it's time for a raise. Is it? I'm posing it as a question. Is it a time for a raise for you? To Because one of our points in our teaching, um, is live within your means. That's one of the rules of living within your means. But one of the other rules is increase your means, work to increase your means. Um, and I have a question here from Belinda Bates. Uh, Miss Bates, glad to see you, sister. I will be answering your question. After I cover these few points here, I'll make sure and answer your question and take care of you in just a short moment. So I appreciate the question. I will answer it for you. So I was talking here about live within your means, and the next one is live within your means, but also work to increase your means, because um, it's not wise to just live your entire life, just trying to make it through life on the same salary if you receive a salary, because it's probably impossible. We have things like inflation, the cost of living as a whole has gone up. And I have some stats here. I was reading what triggered this is I saw an analysis by Investopedia. Investopedia is probably one of the best market researchers out there for personal finance and just economics as a whole. I love reading their articles. That's why I get a lot of my research. I do research and things like that. That's where I usually get it. And so, according to Investopedia, um, these numbers that I'm going to share with you, these are pretty much averages. They don't cover all aspects of life, but it does focus in on focused in on like 10 of them, and I'm going to share because it is a lot of information. But just for the sake of time, I just wanted to share just a few of them. But the first one is the average American earns somewhere between 1.1 million and $3 million in their life. And this is average. This is across. This means the numbers, they will vary based on education, your gender, etc. And pretty much what almost blew me away is that the average, now that's the average income. The average income of an American will be 1.1 million to $3 million in their life. But the part that's mind blowing is the actual cost of living in a normal life in America. The average cost is 3.5 million. So for the average American, could be missing the mark by close to $500,000, $500,000 over your lifetime, because that's more than what you're making. So if you sum up those numbers, really, once I looked at it, I said, okay, they didn't account for everything in these numbers for the cost of living. For instance, like kids' college, other things that you have to take care of, cars, buying the car. There's a number. For instance, the average American will probably spend close to $271,000 over their lifetime on cars, and that's not counting maintenance and fuel, all of those other things, oil, taking care of it, tires, that's very expensive. So we're not taking into an account. I mentioned kids' college, and this is saying basically kids' college, they would probably average out to be $168,000 spent on education, college education. Um, and good thing is that's 4 years. Bad thing is that's 4 years. That's over $150,000 in just college costs. So these are things to take into account. For instance, home. The average American will spend close to $800,000 for their home. $797,000. People love their pets now. So for their pet care, $68,000 over life, excuse me, of a pet, because most people have multiple pets. And the big one, the big elephant in the room, and the one that we sort of gravitate here because it's just that big, healthcare. Healthcare over the life of the average American will be $935,000 over the lifetime. And so that's why we probably lean a little bit more towards healthcare, because just look how large people will spend more on healthcare than they will for their home. So that's something to take in, especially as you get older. That probably early in life, if you're a fairly healthy person, it won't be as much. But when you get older, everyone's chances of having a health crisis or something like that, a serious illness, goes up quite substantially. And so that's almost $1 million in health care that will be spent. So now you see why we're so adamant about healthcare insurance and making sure you get it right. Because if you make a certain mistake with your healthcare, that could cost you long term. And you could lose. It could be tens of thousands up to hundreds of thousands of dollars that that these mistakes could cost you. And so that's just some things to take into an account. Children, not child care, just children. 2 children, $578,000 over a lifetime. And the delivery itself is around 6,000 right now. So you have 12,000 in delivery. Just getting them here is 2 children, the average American, 2 kids, $12,000 just getting them here. That's an expensive trip. I say that in jest, but I've seen it. I've seen those bills. I've seen them quite a few, and 6,000 in some areas is low, is extremely low. So let's get into it. Let's talk about retirement. Retirement here. Just retirement. Okay, you retire, let's say 65. Okay, you need another $716,000 in retirement. So you've lived, and then you get into retirement, you need close, and this is average. Some less, some more. It all depends on lifestyle, things like that. So as you can see how much it's costing, and this has been serious, increases over the decades of the cost of living in America. And like I said, I talk about living below your means, and at the same time increasing those means, because these are serious numbers that I just laid out here. And that was just a few of them. And it adds up to close to $3.5 million for the average American, with the average American earning between $1.1 million to $3 million. And some people will say, not the average American will not earn 1.1 million. That's not even a high paying job. Income over life. If you start working as an adult, let's just say most start working 23, 24 because of maybe college, but most people, they even work during college. But let's just say 40 years, 25 to 65. So 40 years. Let's just do the math. We'll do the math right here. Let's just say, let's just do it like this. $1 million divided by 40 years. It's $25,000 a year. That's minimum wage. So most people don't believe that they earn $1 million, over $1 million during their lifetime, but they do. And that was the number. That's just earning $25,000 a year. You work for 40 years, you're going to earn over $1 million. So now we see why it's so important to constantly work on increasing your means, because we all know $25,000 is hard. That's below the poverty line in America for an individual. An individual earning $25,000 is below the poverty line, and yet they will still earn over $1 million their lifetime if they stay right there. Now you understand why I'm talking about working on increasing those means. We've gone over the costs. It's time to increase those means. And that's why I talk about so much about keeping your career, making sure that you're on that upper trajectory, because you want to earn more, you want to have investment money, you want to live, you want to have a good lifestyle, you want to raise your kids, you want to buy a home, you have to do all of this. All of those things increase make sure you're focusing on increasing your means, because most of the time in today, when you talk to most financial experts, they will usually go towards, okay, well, you need to get on a budget, which is true. You need to reduce your spending, which is true, but you can only do that so much. I'm not one of those that says, you have to just basically just quit living and not barely breathe until till you get into a different place. There's another way to do it. If you do it, become more intentional about increasing your means, your income, other streams of income, starting that side business or side hustle today, going back to school intentionally that will cause your income to increase, taking on more responsibility at work, maybe working overtime, things like that. Always work on increasing your means, because that's what I always did. I was never satisfied with just one stream of income once I understood it. And I was always looking for ways to increase my income, even where I worked. Um, I have some clients, we work with them. They're in corporate, and they don't know if they bring a good candidate to work at their job, they actually get a bonus. So I have a couple of them that they earn $25,000 to $50,000 extra a year just off bringing good people to their company. That's not bad. That's a good way to increase your means without taking any other, you know, same amount of time. You've really given yourself a big raise. So that's why I say I want to make sure and increase your means, and uh, hopefully you can take that to heart and really get to work on that. Now let me answer Belinda Bates' question here. It says, "Hello, John. Let's see here. Hello. I've been with Medicare with Humana for several years. I've talked to an agent that found a deal for me, but said I need to pay like $9,000 out of pocket for I have a major series issue, which I wouldn't have $9,000. Should I be looking for something else?" Um, you can look for everything else. That $9,000 for that particular plan, I guess that's saying that's the maximum out of pocket. Um, you've probably seen it on your summary of benefits where it's MOOP, maximum out of pocket. That's what that's talking about there. Um, then the plan takes over 100% there. Uh, there are other plans you can look at. Um, with you being in AEP right now, we could talk more. It's always good to check other options, check other plans, because there's more than one plan in every zip code. Each plan, for instance, in some areas of ours, they're up to 25 plans. There's actually a few thousand plans in the area. So it would be good to actually look at others. I don't know, maybe, if you're talking with Humana, they may be only able to look at Humana. This may be someone that actually works for Humana. We don't work for Humana, we work for ourselves, so we're contracted with different carriers. We're able to look at plans in different areas, plans of other companies, multiple companies: Aetna, Humana, WellCare, Cigna, those companies. So I would suggest that you do it, because you're in AEP right now, so you do have till December the 7th to do this, so you have time. Um, so if you wanted to give us a call, we would be more than happy. Or if you know of an independent agent, make sure you're talking to an independent agent that represents other companies, more than one carrier, not just a Humana agent, because that's all they're going to do for you is try to enroll you in Humana. But if they, and it doesn't matter, we represent multiple companies. Um, Not one company pays more than the other. It's all set pay. So companies pay us, the service is free to you. So you don't have to be concerned with those types of things. You just know that we would be looking at the perfect plan, the plan that will benefit you the most, that, to reduce these costs and other things. There's some other things out there you probably could do also. Um, and that's really depending upon your situation. So wish I can answer more, but these are very sensitive. They're very individualized topics and subjects. And so If you wanted to give us a call, give us a call there, or you can reach out to us through Facebook, DM us. I see you came through Facebook. You can reach out to us and we'll set up an appointment. We'll talk to you, maybe look at other options for you. So hopefully that helped. But you do have options. Just to break it down for you, you do have options to take care of. All right, so let's check here. No other questions here. I want to thank Belinda Bates for that question, and it comes a lot. We get that question a lot, 10 times, at least 10 times a day. It's a very common question. But like I want to say to everyone out there, with insurance, you do have options, and you have a right to exercise your options. So that being said, let's get over here. Let's look and see if we have any more questions. Just that one here. All right. Oh, I'm going to end it there. I was talking about increasing your means, um, making sure that you are getting paid what you're worth, and always seeking to increase your income, live below the income while increasing the income. And so, that being said, I'm going to uh, close there. And until tomorrow, we'll see you same time, same channel. Have a good day.